Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. So today we're going to be looking at the best case scenario for the Democrats in the United States Senate as of September 16th, 2018, of course, for the 2018 midterm election year. So pretty much I've cleared all of the races that are currently not rated as safe for either political party, 45 for the Republicans and 37 for the Democrats, and that leaves a total of 18 contested races. So number one, we're going to be using the safe, likely, leaning, and tilt feature for all of these races that are pretty much contested, just to show the true immense lead that the Democrats would have in this scenario. And then when I do make my Republican video, same thing goes for them. So 37 Democrats, 45 Republicans. Let's start off with some states that are probably going to move from likely to safe if this was the best case scenario for the Democrats: New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, the Minnesota special election, and Ohio. So those states right now are currently rated as likely by me for my 2018 Senate election prediction. And to be completely honest with you, Pennsylvania, not too far out of the safe margin, I believe. If it's on track with polling, it would be in the safe margin, over 15%. Michigan, I believe, is nearing 15%. Wisconsin, not so much, but eventually, if this was, the Democrats doing the best they can do, Wisconsin would move into the safe column. Same thing with the Minnesota special election. Right now, Tina Smith leads by around 9%, just inching up over 6% of the vote there, probably led by Amy Klobuchar at the top of the ticket. As for Ohio, Sherrod Brown is already in the safe margin in terms of polling, so you pretty much just need to keep on track with that. That puts the Democrats at 43 seats and the Republicans at 45. For the states that are probably going to remain in the likely column, Montana. At this point, Montana is a likely state in my regular Senate election prediction, but to be completely honest with you, I don't expect it to become safe because it is Montana. This is a very Republican state from 2016, a Democratic state in terms of the governorship and one of their Senate elections, which is this one itself. But for right now, I'm not going to say that this state could tilt over that 15% margin, especially with someone like Matt Rosendale, who isn't the best candidate, but still a Republican candidate that isn't really horrible for the GOP. West Virginia moves from leaning to likely, mainly because I do think that 5% margin could be overcame by Joe Manchin in the state of West Virginia. We really can see a near 15% margin, not over it, in the state of West Virginia, mainly because Joe Manchin is pretty popular compared to other Democratic senators nationwide. But again, keep in mind, this is the Democrats' best case scenario. This is not some prediction for 2018 whatsoever. It's just that the Democrats are able to capitalize on everything perfectly. And we do have a couple other races to characterize, I guess, in terms of likely states. There aren't that many at this point. I don't think I'm comfortable putting any of these states truly in the likely, in quote, column at this point. Mainly because even if this was the Democrats' best case scenario, these races would be extremely close. There's not going to be a huge blowout in any of these states, considering most of them are very close. And, it's kind of weird seeing Nebraska not filled in, but I'll get to that in just a moment. I did make a poll on my community tab asking if you guys did believe Nebraska could go to the Democrats in their best case scenario, but we'll come down to that one. There are some states that are currently rated as safe Republican, actually only one state, Mississippi, that I'm actually going to rate as likely Republican because I do think the margin could narrow down, especially with heightened African-American turnout. Again, the Democrats' best case scenario, we could see extended turnout amongst minority groups, and obviously that would drive out voters in Mississippi. But in states like Utah and Wyoming, those states pretty solidly Republican except for Wyoming. But overall, those two states themselves, they really have Senate candidates that are already leading by such a large margins that even if they did chop down 15%, it would still be in the safe column for the Republicans, whereas Mississippi, not so much, especially with another election that I'm going to characterize pretty soon. But for the leaning states, Indiana, Missouri, North Dakota, Florida, Tennessee, those regular states, are the ones that have been in the Democratic column in some election predictions. Not all five, I don't believe. Actually, maybe there was a point where all five were in the Democratic column, but at this point, those states probably not all going blue in 2018, but still, it is possible. But I do think that all these races would be between 1% to 5% because of the mere reason that these are Republican states, except for Florida, which is showing a little bit more Republican tendencies. The president and the governor pretty much have high approval ratings along with the Democratic senator, so it's really hard to gauge this race, but still Florida going to the leaning Democratic column. Go over to a state like Nevada. In the Democrats' best case scenario, I'm still going to put Nevada in the leaning Democratic column. Again, these states probably aren't going to move over to the likely column because they probably are not going to be moving over that 5% margin. And the reason why I say probably a lot is because we haven't had the election yet. I cannot tell you based off factual information from the election results because it hasn't happened. So I've seen a number of people say that I shouldn't be saying things like I think, which means that I'm wrong about my prediction. I don't have the election results. I'm not a time traveler. I can't just pick results and say, yeah, North Dakota was a pretty blue state. Like, I have to leaves some uncertainty because, again, these predictions are never 100% accurate, as 2016 told you. 2012, Nate Silver, we're getting off track, but Nate Silver was 100% accurate in 2012, so that's pretty interesting, but wasn't accurate in a couple of states in 2016. As for the states that are probably going to move into the actually, Arizona, I would put in the leaning Democratic column, which gives them a total of 1 gain, because they did have 49 seats before. Actually, sorry, 3 gains. I don't know why I said 1. It's probably because the Republicans had 51. So a total of 3 gains. But Texas would probably move actually into the leaning column. I'm not going to put in the tote column, mainly because I do think Ted Cruz is losing this race. Again, this is his race to lose. Texas right now could possibly move into the Democratic column by the end of 2018. So it's not completely out of the question at this point in time. As for the state of Nebraska, that one I'm going to move into the leaning Republican column. Again, this is the Democrats' best case scenario, so we definitely do see a lot more party opposition towards the GOP. And also, this race, 538, says Nebraska could go blue if the best thing happened for the Democratic Party, which not likely, especially with this around 50 days left until the 2018 midterm elections. A lot can happen, but I don't think Nebraska is going blue in 2018. As for the Mississippi special election, that one I'm going to put in the tilt Republican column. I honestly do not think the Democrats could gain this one, even if something did happen to Cindy Hyde-Smith, who is the incumbent from the state of Mississippi. Mike Espy, sure, he's a pretty good candidate on the Democratic side, but we're not going to see him win, especially in a year like this. Even though it is a Democratic wave year, not so much in a state like Mississippi. Sure, maybe in Missouri, which is stretching it, Tennessee, stretching it again, but more likely in states like Arizona, Nevada, Texas, Florida, swing states that have either become swing states in 2016 that went for Trump or were pretty close compared to where they were before. So 53 Democrats and 47 Republicans compared to the previous map of 49 Democrats and 51 Republicans. Overall, some states do get a little bit closer, like Nebraska and the Mississippi special election and the state of Mississippi. And you can see on the margins there, the Rust Belt got a little bit bluer. A number of these swing states go into the leaning Democratic column, but a lot more blue in that map than what you see here. So thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I will see you all tomorrow.